Jason.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for calling in for our weekly Dreamers in Action team call. I know we've got just a minute or two that we're starting late, where actually some of the leaders were getting off of a previous call. So thank you for your patience and thank you for your understanding. You guys are in for some greatness tonight, so I would absolutely get a piece of paper and pen. You know, I think going through the core beliefs is one of the most important topics we can ever train on, and you've got a phenomenal leader who's going to go through that. And I just want to highlight a couple things before we really get into our call. Number one, you guys, there's free enrollment all week. I mean, that's a huge, huge, huge gift. And not that I think that we need to have free enrollment in order to enroll people, but it's a great way. I mean, everybody likes to save a buck, especially 29 bucks, and to go back and follow up to really get people excited. And corporate is just really, really trying to get some momentum going into celebration and keep it through the summer, that they're doing these calls, you know, they're doing opportunity calls every single night. And I just want you to really put effort into promoting those. I mean, we're so lucky that they're doing that we all don't have to be doing that. But it's really up to us to figure out how to share them, you know, and just by posting a Zoom link or just by tagging someone, there's no value in that. And taking the time, you know, to be like, hey, Laura, I know we briefly talked about isogenics. I would love for you to hop on this webinar. You know, in 20 minutes, the company and the top leaders can tell you more than I ever could. You're going to get the best presentation, and let's talk right afterwards. But really be intentional about promoting these calls, inviting people to these calls, because tagging them is not enough, but there's so much value in them. And I assure you, it's going to grow your business. And the last thing is, if you guys haven't seen, you know, the cruise contest that's starting, but the flyer is up on ISA FYI. We've got stuff in the Dreamers in Action page. But think about your team, you know, think about what it would be like to win this cruise. And if you've never experienced a trip that Isogenics has put on, I mean, it's 5-star, top of the line, absolutely amazing, amazing experience that you guys all deserve to be there. So partner with go-getters, partner with people that, you know, are fired up to win this trip. And let's just make sure that we've got Dreamers in Action, you know, people in those top 50 teams that win. So with no further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest speaker, even though I know she has other people speaking tonight. But it's a treat always to learn from Megan. I mean, she is so skilled. She's a powerhouse. She's got a huge heart, but she also brings the fun factor. And I feel like I always get to learn something new, and I'm smiling whenever I'm listening to her. So she is a 1-star Crystal Executive, 2-star Golden Circle, and just a really, really, really strong asset to this team. You know, for those of you that don't know her, she left her corporate America job to be a part of this. She lives in Italy with her amazing family, and literally in the pockets of her time from the other side of the world. It's almost 3 in the morning there right now, I think. You know, she makes time for this because she has a huge heart that this is a treat. So thank you guys for being on, and thank you, Meg, for leading.
Thank you, Lauren. You always make me blush when you introduce me, so thanks for making me feel good. So I'm so excited about tonight's call, and so we're going to get into that in a minute. And before we do that, I do want to introduce some amazing people on the team to highlight a couple of stories for you and also highlight the product spotlight of the week. So let's start out with the product spotlight with Chris Marshall, who I just have to say, like, it's been such a joy to get to know Chris. He has the biggest heart. Like, he sent me a book on visualization all the way from the middle of America and sent it to me just as a gift, just to help me out. He's also one of the most positive people you'll ever meet. And what's funny is he's actually one of the people, I just found this out on our call, but he is one of the people on the team, along with Adam Feichter, so you have to talk to Adam too, who has like really strong core belief. So tonight's call is all about beliefs. And so these two gentlemen, like, if you ever have any sort of doubt in any of the 6 core areas that we're going to talk about, you've got to go to these guys. So Chris Marshall, will you please jump out and talk a little bit about the most delicious slim cakes that you have none of because you ate all of them?
Right. Can you guys hear me? Thank you.
Yes.
So I get to talk about our slim cakes. These are an amazing product, but I don't have any because I eat things that taste good. And so I have a picture. So here it is. These are the slim cakes. Just a couple of quick things. They come individually wrapped. They're these delicious cookies. They have a lot of fiber, like 5 grams of fiber, but they don't taste like sawdust. And they're just a great thing that you can throw in your purse or throw in your briefcase or throw in your glove box. You can hand to your kids. There's so many different things you can do with these. And you know, if you're ever like middle of the day and you have the munchies and you know that it's going to be like Fritos or something, grab a Slim Cake because that'll totally satisfy you and you're not going to go for the junk. And a lot of times this whole business is about eat this, not that. And these are a great thing to fill into your eat this, not that. So 24 bucks, you get 14 of them. It's cheaper than anything in the vending machine and it's really good for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. So one thing I'll add about the Slim Cakes is that they do actually have gluten in them. It's one of the probably the only product now that Isogenics has that does have gluten in it. So just note that, because I know we're very used to gluten-free products and a lot of us are gluten-free. So as you talk about that with your product users, just note that, but they are so, so good. So if you are a gluten-free most of the time person like me, you might want to treat yourself once in a while with a Slim Cake. So thank you so much, Chris, for sharing that. So Kelly, let me see. Kelly Rowland, are you on the phone or on the call? I see a 719 number, so I think that's you. Yes, you are. Okay, girl. Yeah. So you're ready. Awesome. So I want to introduce my dear friend, Kelly Rowland. She is just the sweetest gal. Funny enough, we just met online. I don't even remember how. We've been talking forever, and she got started with Isogenics just a few months ago and is just having an amazing experience. She just is such a lovely, lovely person. If once you get to know her, you'll know that she's all about positivity. She wants to share the beautiful news of the world, and she's also having a great experience with Isogenics. So Kelly, would you be open to sharing your story with us, please?
Definitely. Thank you so much, Megan.
Thanks.
As long as I can remember, I've kind of always battled fatigue and sleep deprivation. And then as I entered my 30s, I actually started to gain weight. It was only, 20 pounds and 5 pounds. And a couple of years ago, I actually noticed that I had gained about 40 pounds. And about a year after that is when I met Megan, and she introduced me to Isogenics. I started taking it. It's the best thing that I take the shakes and the Isopro and a few other things, but it's really been good for me. I've lost about 17 pounds at this point. And I also have my boyfriend is also on Isogenics as well, and he's lost about 15 pounds, and it's actually really good for him because he's actually pre-diabetic, and it's really kind of changed his life and helped him to lose that weight and stay on a healthy diet.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly. I do love like the pictures of you and Jason when you're cleansing together. I swear it's so true. Friends and couples who cleanse together stay together. So if you're not cleansing with your spouse, significant other, or your best friend, I highly, highly encourage it. Thank you so much for sharing, Kelly.
Yes, thank you.
All right. And so the next person that I want to call out is my good friend now, Jason Wasinski. He and I actually don't go way back, but we have so many mutual friends from our biotech days in the ophthalmology industry. And he is just like a dynamite guy. He has had great results as well. And I don't even need to do any more introduction because you'll just see his enthusiasm when he jumps out here. So Jason, will you share your opportunity story with us, please? You're on mute. Let me see. How can I unmute you?
What's his phone number? Or I might be able to do it because I'm the admin.
Oh, I'm on. I'm on mute. Hear me?
There you go.
It went to mute. Can you see me?
Yeah, we're good now.
No, I just want to share a little bit about my story. Like just similar to Megan, I come from the corporate background, and for me, it was just a matter of I just wasn't happy anymore. What I was doing just wasn't good for my soul. And what's important for me is I'm an only parent, so I'm kind of like doing everything, and I have a 10-year-old daughter. And what I found was like I wasn't present when I came home from work, whether it was on the weekends or at night. Like I wasn't in the moment because I was always thinking about something else. And Megan saw that in me when I was kind of toying with like getting out of pharmaceuticals and all that stuff. And she approached me about Isogenics from a fitness side because she knew I was in fitness, but she also approached me about the financial side. And it took me a little while to buy into it, but on June 1st, I did my first 30-day ab challenge, and it's been guns blazing ever since. I mean, I know myself so well. I've been working out probably on and off since I've been about 10 years old, and I've never really taken a lot of supplements before. And within 3 days, I knew that these products were working for me, and over the last 6 weeks, I've probably lost about 17 pounds. My energy's through the roof. And I really, honestly, have never felt better. And what's exciting about it is like people can see it. Like between looking good and also and feeling like crap, but also looking good and feeling good. Like I have the best of both worlds right now. It doesn't look like it's going to dissipate anytime soon. Which makes me and I'm just so pumped up. And I have 2 people on the team already that they're excited about Isogenics, and they're already seeing results. And I just think the surface is not even being scratched right now about opportunities when it comes to the program. And I'm just psyched, and I'm grateful for you, Megan. Thank you. And I'm grateful for Isogenics. So thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you both.
You're on mute now. Ooh.
Mute. I'm on mute. So I just have to give a huge shout out, especially to Kelly and Jason, because this is the very first time that they've shared on a team call with so many people. And for those of you who did share for the first time, I'm sure it was difficult for you as well. But it all comes down to that belief. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you look at who's on the call right now, you can see that we have everyone from Lauren Sims, who is like the epitome of an Isogenics leader and builder, and she went so fast to the top, and she's one of the like fastest leaders in the entire company. She's won multiple award trips, multiple Millionaire in Action distinctions. Like she is on fire, game on all the time. So we have that type of person on the call. And then we have people who are just getting started, who are just starting to see the vision of Isogenics. And then we have some people who've maybe been in for a while and they've been dipping their toe in the water just a little bit, or even half of a toe, and just kind of dabbling and kind of seeing what this can do for them. We have people who are part-time, who are doing this full-time, and we have people who have rock solid belief, and then those who don't. But what I will tell you from my own personal experience and from all of the podcasts that I've listened to, all of the information that I've gathered, which I love doing, one of the most important things with this opportunity is your belief. And here at Isogenics, we really talk about 6 core beliefs. You might have heard about 5, but I want to talk a little bit about the 6th as well, which is what I learned from David Wood, who I've also been working with very closely on my own. But we're going to talk about these 6 core beliefs. And what I want you to do as we go through the 6 core beliefs is ask yourself, where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being like, you don't believe in this, you couldn't believe in this to save your life, you're a total skeptic. And 10 being like, even if your mom told you that you were absolutely bat crazy, then and you still wouldn't change your mind, that would be a 10, like rock solid, no one can stop you, you don't care what anyone thinks. So think about that as we go through the core beliefs. And here's an analogy that I hear said all the time, which I really, really love when it comes to thinking about your beliefs. Because if you're a 2, or if you're a 7, or if you're a 10 in any of these categories, it's okay. It's fine. Wherever you start out is actually okay. So first of all, as you ask yourself where you are on this scale for each of the core beliefs, if you're a 2, please don't beat yourself up because that's not going to help. But just know that you have the opportunity and the responsibility, the self-responsibility to get yourself to a 10 out of 10 in every single category. And let me give you an analogy to figure out why. So let's just say that you have, I'm speaking from a woman's point of view because I'm a woman, but you have the love of your life in front of you. His name's Massimiliano Pizzone. But you have the love of your life in front of you, and you are so excited because you know he's going to ask you, to marry him. And he says, Meg, you know, I really, really love you. And I'm like 70% certain that I want to be with you for the rest of my life. That would suck. If he came out and proposed to me like that, I'd be like, are you crazy, man? I'm getting on a plane to the US as fast as possible and getting out of here, right? But even if he said the same thing, hey, Meg, I really, really love you. We've had a great life so far together. I'm 99% certain that you are the one for me for the rest of my life. Would I accept that proposal either? Well, no. Why in the heck would I do that? If there's like a 0.1% chance, if there's a 1% chance that I'm not going to be with this man for the rest of my life, there's no way in heck that I would say yes, because I'm going to go ahead and find that person who's 100% certain that they want me in their life forever, right? Or we're just not going to seal the deal. So the same thing goes for your beliefs in Isogenics, in the products, in the 6 core areas that we're going to talk about. You've got to get to that 10 out of 10, because if you're not, people are going to start poking holes at you, and they're going to start opening up a crack of uncertainty in you. And it can just start chipping away at your belief, and then it's really hard to recover. So the most important thing that you can do, I think, in this business, along with just getting started and getting in action, is learn as much as you can in the areas where your belief is a little bit less than a 10 out of 10, and get it up to a 10 out of 10 as fast as humanly possible, because that's when you're going to be unstoppable. That's when you're going to get into action. That's when you're going to ooze that certainty that's going to allow people to be attracted to you, get onto your team, and then be in action themselves. Okay, so I have written down some notes because I don't want to miss anything. And so let's talk about the number one core belief. The number one is the products. So how do you build a 10 out of 10 belief in the products? Number one, you use them. Like, it's not rocket science, people. But interestingly enough, this is one of the areas where a lot of people struggle. Like, they have a great first 30 days and they lose a bunch of weight and they feel amazing and their energy is up. And then they start slipping away gradually. They maybe go down to 1 shake a day, which is fine if that works for you in maintenance mode. They stop cleansing. Maybe they just use a couple products here and there. Their Ionix usage is hit or miss. And then they start either creeping back up with their weight or losing their energy. And they lose that zest, that energy, that vibrancy that they first initially had with Isagenix. So number one is you've got to use the products, and you've got to use them consistently. When you think about this as your business, one of the concerns that I hear is, oh, but maintaining 100 BV or 150 BV or whatever is kind of expensive, or I really like to go out for pizza every single Friday night, and gosh, I really like my beer every single day, and maybe 4 beers, right? Like, that's fine. You can make those choices, but know that Isagenix is a health-based company, and your health is your brand, right? And so if you're at the beginning of your health journey and you're not in your ideal health, that is totally okay. But it's so important that you're growing toward that and continually growing toward that and not slipping back all the time. If you do slip back, that's fine too. You can actually be very open about that, and that makes you very relatable. And at the same time, you've got to show that you're using the products consistently. Your belief has to be a 10 out of 10 in the products. And one of the best ways is to use the products. So if you're slipping, one of the most recommended things that I could say for you to do is just get your butt in gear with a 9-day cleanse. So a lot of people are doing that 11-day detox jumpstart right now in the group. It's one of the best ways to get yourself back on track if you're finding yourself lacking in your results, which therefore chips away at your belief in the product usage. So that's number one. The other thing is learn about the products. You can go to isagenixhealth.net and take a look at all of the articles that are out there. For you science geeks like me and a couple of others of you on the call, there are also a lot of white papers and clinical research studies validated by third-party sources, which talks to the efficacy and proven potency of these products, right? And then you can also look to the 600 or 700,000 people maybe at this point worldwide who are having success with the products. You can go into the testimonials page, the Dreamers in Action testimonials page. You can go into the various team pages that we have. You can go into Isagenix team page, the ISA testimonials page. You can go into the start page. You'll see all these transformations left and right. So even if you haven't had your own transformation yet, you can look to others and see what's happening for other people and set that as your new set point for what's possible for you and learn what you can do. So that's the other way is, instead of just using the products, look at everyone else's results and re-inspire yourself as needed. So the belief in the product, number one, you have to have it. It's also probably one of the easiest beliefs to really get a 10 out of 10 in, because these products are so incredible. But if you have any problems with that at all, reach out to whoever sponsored you. Go to the isagenixhealth.net page. You can also go to isaproduct.com. That's a great resource as well. So let's talk about number two, the company. So if you're here, it's because you love Isagenix, or maybe you don't even know Isagenix fully yet, but you just love the culture. Well, let me just tell you, this is a rock solid company. So I have been in the corporate world. I've seen a lot of businesses out there, and this business is one that is continually growing. They're continually investing. We've been around since 2002. So we have a track record of success. We know we're doing things compliantly, which is so important, whether you hate compliance or you love it. It is one of the most important things we can do to really protect our legacy, and this company is doing it right. So if you don't know about the company, again, this is one of the most important things, is you're casting the vision for new people and really showing them that they can have a home here. You've got to know some of the main facts about the company. And one of the best things you can do is take a look at the founders. So if you take a look at John Anderson, the master formulator, he actually has formulated over like 2,300 nutritional products. So this is not a guy who's just like doing some trial and error over here and he just happened upon the Cleanse for Life, right? He is someone who knows how to formulate products, and he's actually collected ingredients from all over the world and put together a great system in the regulatory space to assure quality and compliance over and over and over again with the product. So everyone knows that what is on the package is actually in the package. Right, so that's in terms of our products, in terms of our master formulator, so you can trust in that. But what about the Coovers? Well, the Coovers have a combined 50 years of experience in the network marketing field. So one of the favorite podcasts that I've ever heard, which I haven't even shared yet, I don't know, I was being really selfish, I guess, that day, or maybe I didn't get around to it, but all the resources that I mentioned, by the way, I am going to post probably tomorrow in the event page, so you can just look at them at your leisure. But one of the best podcasts was an interview of Jim Coover and David Wood, from David Wood. Has anyone else listened to that podcast? Raise your hand. Oh my, Laura, okay, awesome. That is one of the best, so I'm so selfish, so sorry for not sharing earlier. But it talks about Jim Coover's, like where he came from, how he started building gyms and creating barber shops and like all this stuff that you never knew about Jim Coover, but it also shows you his heart and like why he's doing this. So if you don't know, Jim and Kathy Coover do not need to do this. They're not in it for the money. And so you know that when they put new programs out there, when they change the way that we are doing things, it's because if it's not right for the customer, it's not right for Isagenix. And they say that, but that's also what they do. And so if you want to have more belief in the company, I think one of the best things that you can do is look toward the founders, but also involve yourself with the culture. This is one of the best cultures I've ever been a part of. And I've been very, very fortunate in my life, in my career life, to be surrounded by amazing people and great cultures. And this is absolutely like the creme de la creme. It's so amazing. If you just look at our values alone, we have 12 core values, the things that drive us. They include things like health, freedom, family, innovation. So if you think about all of those things, if our values align with your values, if the company values align with your values, you know it's a place where you can find a home, and you know it's a place that you can believe in. So number one, the products. Number two, the company. Again, I'll list some of the resources that you can take a look at to increase your belief in these areas, or in the chat. I can't read the chat and actually talk at the same time. I can't multitask. So if you do hear a resource, you can always put it in the chat and we can look at that later too. The next thing, events. How could I miss that? So with the company, one of the number one things that you can do is attend an event. So how many of you are going to Celebration in August? Awesome. It is one of the absolute like best things you can ever do. And it's not just to build your belief, it's about everything, but specifically to build your belief. When you get to one of these events, you will see what Isagenix is all about. I promise you, it's one of the, like, it's something to hear it, but then it's something, one thing to like see it in a video, but it's a totally different thing to experience it at your very core, just feeling all of the energy that's in the room when you get to one of these events. So events are absolutely key. Local events are great, but the corporate sponsored events, especially the core four, which include Celebration, University in Action, Isagenix University, and NYKO, those are like non-negotiable. At least 2 to 3 out of 4 every single year. All the top leaders say that events are non-negotiable. And I've not seen one leader so far, like there are a lot of things that separate the leaders, but one thing that every one of them does is they go to events, and they go often. It'll build your belief. You'll walk out of there 10 feet tall and bulletproof in the area of the company, but in every single area that we're going to be talking about. So events are key. Okay, so let's talk about network marketing. How many of you have ever heard the like the phrase like, is this one of those things? Or is this one of those pyramid schemes? Or I don't want to be a part of one of those things. Anyone? Anyone? A lot of us. Okay. You've probably heard it, or maybe you've experienced it. And from my perspective, I grew up in a household where my parents actually, it seemed to me at the time that they had tried every network marketing company under the sun. The one that I remember the most, like the one that had the most longevity, was Nu Skin, like back in the day. But I think my mom also did Avon and some other things, and they never worked out. And so when you go in with that kind of a belief, or you're hearing it from your friends, or maybe your spouse or partner is really against network marketing, so products and company, that stuff is pretty easy. Now we're getting into some of the harder stuff. Belief in network marketing is absolutely imperative, because that's what this whole business is built on. So what I will say about network marketing is, whether you look at how it was in the past, or you can see how it is in the future, right now, network marketing is becoming the gold standard for creating secondary streams of income for families, and even primary streams of income. And it's not the gold standard yet, but it's going to be. Like, if you just look at your Facebook feed, you're going to see friends who are selling Isogenics, Rodan Fields, the leggings, I can't remember the company name. You're going to see all of these network marketing companies, and it's because the cost of entry is low. Anyone can do it. You can do it in the pockets of your time. It's something that has unlimited potential in terms of income, at least with Isogenics. And it's something that really, like, it's just unmatched in terms of company, or in terms of like a career path. It's really an amazing, amazing thing. And so if you don't know much about network marketing, you might have a little bit of a lack of belief in there, and that will come off to the people that you're talking to. So when you're talking to them about shakes, if you have that lack of belief, this is something I'll say as well, you're going to hear that objection over and over and over. And luckily, for whatever reason, even after seeing my parents not have success with network marketing, I can totally see why this is the absolute best thing for people to get into if it's what they want. And so I barely ever hear that objection. But if you have a lack of belief in any of these areas, and one of them being network marketing, you're going to hear, is this a pyramid scheme? Is this one of those things? You're going to hear that over and over and over again. So how do you overcome that? One of the best resources that everyone talks about, and I highly recommend to every single one of you on this call, is GoPro by Eric Worre. Who's read it or who's listened to it? So that's a clue, guys. Almost everyone on this call, and all the top leaders that you're seeing on this call, have read it, have listened to it, maybe even more than once. So that's a clue. You can get it on audible.com. You can get it on Amazon as a Kindle or as a paperback book, whatever, but get it, because it explains so many things about this industry that if you don't read it, you're going to experience it, and it's going to be painful. It's going to be painful if you're not ready for it. So I think this is one of the best ways that you can reframe your mindset in terms of network marketing. Now, another resource that I've heard of, which I will tell you I haven't read myself because I needed GoPro and that was good enough for me. But if you're really struggling with your belief in network marketing, one of the great books that I've heard about is called Business for the 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki. He's the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I would check that out as well. And then one of my other favorite trainings ever, like, I am so obsessed with Chris Harder. He's like my ISA crush. He's so awesome. This guy is like, if you're thinking about a businessman, like the ideal businessman, it's him. He has done so many things. He is a banker by trade. He's started his own companies. He's now a podcaster. He has a podcast called For the Love of Money. But he takes this business and he explains really why this business is so amazing, so dynamic, and why anyone can fit with it. And then how it also relates to Isogenics specifically, and why Isogenics is the best in network marketing. And so one of my favorite trainings is a One Team University training by Chris Harder. This is a series that Trisha Wilkins ran, I think, last year. Again, I'll post this if you haven't listened to that one. It is like so good. And it covers actually a lot more than just network marketing itself. I highly recommend that, especially if you have any lack of belief in network marketing. So let's talk about the comp plan. How many of you have made money with Isagenix? I keep asking questions. I know I'm like grilling you all. We've all, like almost all of us have made money with Isagenix. And if you haven't yet, you can see the vision for what's possible for you. But this compensation plan, I will say I've never been a part of another company, and I don't want to bash any other plans, but from everything that I've heard, this plan is unmatched. You have upfront money. So all of those double PIBs and PIBs and rank advancement bonuses, all of that is there to support you as you start building your residual income and your commissions through your BV. Like that is like unheard of, all that upfront money. It's so generous. With the Customer First program, guys, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. It's made everything so much easier. And it allows people to start at their own time. So like when they're ready, after they have had their product transformation, then all those rank advancement bonuses start. That's when all the time starts. So it's actually easier now than ever to hit all those crystal rank advancements, which is so amazing. Another thing about this compensation plan that whether you've been a part of another company or not, is that you get paid on unlimited depth. So that means any single person that is in your downline, whether you enrolled them or someone that's 10 steps below you enrolled them, you get paid on that volume. It's unheard of. Most network marketing companies put a cap on certain levels. So like we talk about 4 PET. So Lauren enrolled me, I'm 1 PET, and then I enrolled Jason, that's 2 PET, and then he enrolled Tara, that's 3 PET. Am I counting right? So that's how it works. But even like 10 levels deep, we still get paid, whereas a lot of companies stop at like level 3 or 4. So that is amazing. The other thing is once you opt in to being an associate, so you have to opt in to be an associate first, that's key, but your volume never flushes. So your points or your BV, it never goes away. It rolls over from month to month as long as you stay active. Most companies that flushes away every single month, you have to start over again. It's crazy. So some of you probably even have banked volume if you've been on the products for a while. And that's like one of the most generous things ever, because that's just going to mean that you have residual cycles every time you add someone on your what we call weak leg. So that is unheard of, guys. It's so amazing. And if you want more information about the compensation plan, if you need to build your belief, if you haven't quite earned the rank advancement bonus money or the residual income that you're dreaming of, take a look at the comp plan, because there's so many things that are possible for you. So there are 4 videos now, which are really great for explaining every single level. There's the you share, they share video. That's like the basic one. The other one that I really love is the Kathy Coover Fast Track to Executive. That talks about like the $10,000+ that are available on the table within the first 6 months of someone becoming an associate. That's just in rank advancement bonuses and rank advancement bonuses, 10K, 6 months, like amazing, right? So that's the Fast Track to Executive. There's a new compensation plan video by Jim Coover. It actually has chapters. So like if you have a question about the compensation plan and it goes through everything, then you can actually pick and choose where you go in that webinar and really get a full understanding of it. And then the other one is how to maximize the compensation plan. This one is from Kathy Coover. And this is really more for probably seasoned network marketers. She talks a little bit with the iso-Latin, if you will, with the compensation. And but really for seasoned network marketers or for those of you who've been with us for a while, that's a great way to see how we can actually maximize the comp plan. And even if you know the comp plan pretty well yourself, it's great to go back and look at these videos so that you can build the belief in the compensation plan with your team, and you can explain how generous this compensation plan is with your team. So those are the 4 main videos. There are a lot of other ones that are out there. There's a training by Jen Smith, which is totally old and a little bit outdated. But what I like about it is she does go through and actually shows like what it looks like in the back office, which is great for newbies. Or if you're having a hard time understanding the comp plan, it's okay. It happens. Like you might have to watch it over and over. And even if you don't know how you're making money, but you're making money, just don't worry about it, because that's a great thing. But compensation plan, the belief in the compensation plan is key. So let's move on to a bit more of the like sticky subjects. So, all right, let's talk about belief in self. And this is where I'm just going to get a little bit real with y'all and just get very transparent. So belief in self is something that I've actually never struggled with. So I'm going to talk about in the 6th core belief where this has really been a struggle for me. But belief in self is like one of the things that most people really do struggle with. And maybe it shows up in your network marketing business, or maybe it shows up in other areas of your life. But these are like self-limiting beliefs that oftentimes we actually are ingrained with from childhood. And these are not even sometimes the ones that you think of on a conscious level. So like if you don't believe in the products, like it's pretty easy to figure out that you don't believe in the products. Or if you don't believe in the company, you're kind of like, I don't know if Isagenix is like the right place for me. It's pretty easy to know that. And it's also fairly simple to get your belief to a 10 out of 10. But when you're talking about your self-limiting beliefs, like it gets a little bit hairy, right? And there's a phrase that we all say in Isagenix, like your business will grow to the extent that you grow yourself. So let me just say that again, because it's really, really important. And this subject is so close to my heart. Your business will grow to the extent that you grow yourself. You guys, we have to grow into the people who are ready for the amazing levels of income that are possible with Isagenix. We have to grow into the people who are confident enough to share with the world about this amazing gift of health. We have to grow into the people who feel like we deserve this. We have to grow into the people who feel like we are enough. We have to grow into the people who can lead a team of volunteers, because look it, you can't hire and you can't fire. You've got to lead with inspiration and motivation. And some of us don't come into this with that stuff. And it's all stuff you can learn, but a lot of it comes down to your very core beliefs. So I am like the personal development queen. Like I have probably read, I don't know, hundreds of personal development books. I started with personal development when I was like 12. I went to my very first personal development event. It was called the Landmark Forum. Some of you have maybe heard of it, but it is intense. And even with all of that stuff, like I still have a lot of growing to do. But the main areas I think people have limiting beliefs in that affect our business are, we have limiting beliefs in terms of our money mindset. So you might find that you get to a certain income and you just can't get over it. It's a money mindset thing. We have an issue with our feelings of worth, or we have a feeling of lack of self-worth, or that we don't feel like we are enough, or that we don't deserve it. A lot of us, well, I think probably all of us, let me just say all of us, have what I would call an upper limit problem, which is similar to the money mindset, but this is actually spanning all areas of our life. And so what happens is when you get to that upper limit, you start self-sabotaging and you don't even know it sometimes. And those are like some of the main areas where we have self-limiting beliefs. Sometimes it's in relationships, and that's usually going to happen in your personal relationships, but that can also come into your business as well with conflict. And so this one is where you have to do some like real internal analysis and figure out if you have a really great belief and you're a 10 out of 10 in the products, you're a 10 out of 10 with the company, you're a 10 out of 10 in the comp plan, you're a 10 out of 10 in network marketing, but you're not getting to where you need to be and you're hitting a plateau or a ceiling, it could be belief in self, right? So I'm gonna just read some of these like books that I have read that are some of my favorites that are coming to mind. But if you have any issue, like you have found a self-belief, an area where you have a lack of self-belief, feel free to reach out to me, because I probably read a book on it. I could probably point you in the right direction for it. But some of my favorites are The Big Leap. So I talked about that upper limit problem where you like get to an upper limit in any area of your life and then you self-sabotage. This can also help happen in your health journey, by the way. So if you are someone who yo-yo diets and you're finding that your belief in the products is lacking because you can't stick with it, this book is great. It's called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. So again, I'll put all the links. You don't even have to write them down. One of my other favorite ones is Code of the Extraordinary Mind, and it's all about looking at the world in a different way. Masterminds are great in terms of really building your belief and making sure that you're surrounded by supportive people and learning in the areas where you need to grow. So you can always form a mastermind or an accountability group with people on the team, with people who have other skill sets than you, or maybe who have areas where they have a really high belief and you need to build that belief. I think masterminds are amazing. Another book that I'm reading right now, which I'm like obsessed with, is called Infinite Possibilities by Mike Dooley. He's awesome. He's the author of Notes to the Universe. If you haven't signed up for his daily email, I highly recommend it, because sometimes I swear he writes an email and I'm like, oh my God, he's speaking exactly to me, even though it's going out to like 3 million people. But he helps build your belief actually on a daily basis. And this whole book is about the idea of thoughts become things. You Were Born Rich is an awesome one if you have a money mindset issue, but also this one just talks about all of the possibilities, how you can create your own life by using your thoughts and by reprogramming your self-limiting beliefs. Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker. People love it. Like if you talk about money mindset books with the people in Isogenics, I think they all mention this one. And then Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. So awesome. Like if you have any issues with connection or perfectionism, or you feel like you're masking or shielding, this book is so amazing. So I could go on for at least another few hours on all of the books that I would recommend. But the key is that you've got to get some self-development in probably every single day. And one of the other resources that you can use for that is we do have a bi-weekly call. I don't know if you guys know this, but it's called the Rise and Shine call. And it's at 6:30 a.m. Mountain Time. And basically it's 15 minutes to light up your morning, start you off with positivity. And what's really great about this is different leaders lead all the time on different topics. So sometimes you don't get into the topics too deeply, but you'll hear something where you're like, I actually think I have a self-limiting belief in that area, and you can explore it further. So the Rise and Shine call is awesome, an awesome resource as well. But I highly encourage like 20 minutes of self-development a day if you can. And you don't have to read, you don't actually have to sit down and study. I have stuff in my ears all the time. So if I'm doing dishes or I'm doing laundry or I'm running or I'm driving, I always have a podcast or an audiobook in my ear. I very rarely listen to music anymore. And I'm not saying that you can't, but I just feel like you can use your time really, really wisely listening to books on personal development or podcasts, which really can shift your entire life. And sometimes just doing it like 20 minutes a day is all you need. So belief in self, but remember, you might have a limiting belief in another area of your life that isn't even related to Isogenics. But what's so beautiful about this company and this culture and network marketing in general is that whole thing, like your business will grow to the extent that you grow yourself. So even if you have a self-limiting belief in another area, it will still help propel your business forward, I promise you. And so the sixth core belief that is really subtle, and I don't think people talk about this a lot, and it's the one that has been, I will just say, has been plaguing me for the last 2.5 years, is the belief in self as a network marketer. So for me, for whatever reason, I have a very high belief in myself in every other category. Like I believed, after I met Mossy, I'll just tell you this quick story. Like I just believed in my heart I was going to find a way to move to Italy. I just believed it. Like he worried about, I don't know if you're going to be able to find a job. Like, dude, can we really make this work? And I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. I've got this. Like it's going to all work out. And it did. Like it was crazy how things happen. But when you have that unshakable belief in something, things will happen. In network marketing for me, and I've just finally put this together, it is the thing that has been holding me back is belief in myself as the network marketer. And I don't know if it comes from my parents and watching them, fail at this business for a long time, or I don't know what it is, but why you believe something is not nearly as important as just getting rid of that belief, letting it go, and rebuilding a brand new belief. And so if you feel like you have high belief in the products, high belief in the company, high belief in network marketing, compensation plan. You're like, yeah, this rocks. You have a high belief in yourself in a lot of other areas, but you just are finding that you're just not making it work like you want to with Isagenix. You're not moving as fast as you want to. It could be that you have a lack of belief in yourself as a network marketer. And I'll just tell you another story. One of the things that you can do, the best thing that you can do for yourself is set the right expectations. So it's really easy. This is the only industry that I know of where you can like enroll now, like right now, let's just say you just put in your order, you just put your order in. Like 2 seconds later, you can start in the business. Like that's a little bit weird if you think about it, right? Like if you think about any other profession, there's a training program involved, right? Like they're not just gonna let you out on the street free and wild, like do your own thing. But with this, you actually can do that. And at the same time, it's really easy. You see all these people running to the top. You know, you see us celebrating people who go consultant within like 2 days, or even they come in with 2 friends and they go consultant immediately. And meanwhile, you're here, you've been sharing for 5 months, and you can't have someone enroll with you to save your life. And you're like, well, what the heck? And you keep seeing all these people rank advance and you're not doing it. So we are, you know, setting ourselves up for a little bit of a rude awakening, if you will, by comparing ourselves to everyone else. And it's a natural thing to do, but you've got to understand, you have to set the right expectation for yourself. And what I did was I set an expectation for myself that was way too high. And I did that because I have a great network. I have really great skill sets. Like I've been in leadership for a long time. I've been in marketing for a long time. I can talk to 1 million people, no problem. Like I'm not an introvert. I share things naturally. Like you would think I have all the goods to make this work, and I do. And as all of you do, that is so key. You all have it in you. And so I thought, oh gosh, well, why can't I'll be a millionaire in 3 years. I'm just going to quit my corporate job where I make 6 figures a year and go into Isagenix full time. Where at the time I hadn't even hit director yet. So I just took a leap of faith. Like that's how you know that I have a strong belief in myself. But I had set my expectations so high that every day and every month that I didn't hit that out of the like water goal or this vision that I had for myself, I was chipping away at my self-belief. And chipping and chipping and chipping and chipping and chipping and chipping. So that, you know, not even that long ago, I was in tears talking to Lauren on the phone, like, why can I not make this work? You know, and I'll tell you, like, if you look at what I've achieved, I've actually achieved some pretty decent success, but it's not to that expectation that I set for myself. And so as I set that expectation so high and I don't meet it, because the reality is most of us suck at this when we start, and that's okay. We've never done it before. We haven't been trained. We go out on day 1 or day 5 or whatever, and we start doing this without ever having attended an event, without ever having any formal training. Like, why do we expect ourselves to run so freaking fast? Well, because we've seen other people do it. But when you look at the number of people who are doing it versus the number of people who are trying to do it, it's like, you know, less than 1%. And when you think about the people who are doing it, these people have had like 3,000 to 5,000 conversations to really get it done. And so you have to ask yourself how many conversations you're having. And if you haven't had 3,000 or 1,000 or 5,000, then you're just not there yet. And you have to ask yourself, why am I not having those conversations? And almost always it's going to come back to a lack of self-belief, a lack of belief in self as a network marketer, or sometimes one of the other 4 categories, which are a little bit easier to handle. So when it comes to this lack of self-belief in network marketing or as a network marketer, there are a few things that I recommend just based on my own experience that really, really help. So number 1, just breathe and relax and reset your expectations. You've got to have a 10-year mindset for this company. You've got to have a 10-year mindset. Like, you can't expect to rise to the top in 2 years like some of these other people have. We have zero idea the situations and the head games or lack thereof that these other people have going on. So when they rise to the top in 2 years, we just don't know how they did that. They can talk about how they did that, but even they sometimes don't know. So relax, don't compare yourself, and set the right expectations with a 10-year mindset. If you go into this thinking, gosh, if I can, make $1 million in 10 years, that's $100,000 a year, if you think about it. Like, that's a lot of money for most people. And if you think about the trajectory, you're going to make very little in the beginning with a lot of work, and then you're going to start like making the same amount as the work that you put in, and then you're going to be highly overpaid at the end. So in the later years, you're going to start making hundreds of thousands of dollars. But that's that 10-year mindset, you guys. You can't go into this thinking, or you can, but you'll probably be disappointed and chip away at your self-belief, thinking I'm going to just like knock this out of the park in 2 years and then I'm done. So those are the main things you have to start out with, is stop comparing, set a 10-year mindset, and create a really solid and positive expectation for yourself. The other things that I've done is, one of the things I've done wrong is I was looking for the results to build my self-belief in me as a network marketer. So I kept thinking, even recently, I was thinking, as soon as I get to 3-star, I'll finally know that I can do this. As soon as I get to 3-star, my team is going to finally know that I can do this. As soon as I get to 3-star, the world is finally going to know that I can do this. And I thought, I actually had it written on my whiteboard. I still have it written because I didn't erase that junk. But it says something like, my business is in such momentum, it is injecting massive amounts of belief in myself and the team. So my business is in such momentum that it is injecting massive amounts of belief in myself and the team. That is so backward, you guys. No. 2.5 years I've been thinking this. Like, thank God to David Wood for pointing this out to me. No, you have to believe first, and then the results will come. If your results are not coming, it's because you don't believe in yourself enough. It's because you have a lack of certainty. And when you have a lack of certainty, your actions follow that. If you were, let me just ask you this, and I want you guys to tell me, like, shake your head, nod your head, whatever, raise your hand. If you knew without a doubt, 100%, that you could make $1 million with Isagenix in the next year, would you have 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 conversations in order to do it? Would anyone not have 3,000 conversations if you knew, like, there was, it was like written in stone, have 3,000 conversations, you will be a millionaire? Would anyone not do that? Everyone would do it. And that's how you know, if you're not doing it, you've got something going on between your head, between your ears, that you've got to find it, and you've got to get to it, and ask yourself, like, you have to create the belief, and then the results will come. Do not expect the results to come and then your belief will come. It's so backwards. So just think of that mindset. Work with a mentor. Like, working with David Wood has been amazing. I'm very close with Lauren, which has been amazing. Like, find someone that you can work with and talk through these things with, because sometimes, like, your self-limiting beliefs are invisible to you, but other people can see them and they can help you work through it. So work with a mentor. Figure out how to utilize the strengths that you have in other areas of your life and just put that into Isagenix. Like, I just was going through my strengths and I realized, like, I'm a competitive person. I don't actually use that so much with Isagenix. Like, when it comes to competition, sometimes I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. But I'm like, wait a minute, that's one of my strengths. So how can I utilize that for the benefit? Because that's actually a really strong suit of mine. So why wouldn't I want to utilize that for Isagenix? And then the other thing that you guys have probably heard a lot is affirmations, affirmations, affirmations. Like, your mind doesn't actually know the difference between imagination and reality. So if you can visualize, if you can affirm, if you can write down every single day exactly what you want your life to look like, and read it over and over and over, you will start to believe. Like, this is a lot of work. So I don't want to tell you that You write down affirmations, you say it for 5 days straight, and then it comes true. It's not how it works, guys. This is something that's at the subconscious level that you've probably ingrained in yourself so long ago. You have zero idea why, but this takes work. It takes effort and it takes consistent action. And we're all here to support you to do it. But just think about exactly what you want your life to look like with Isogenics, exactly how you want your team to be, exactly who you want to bring into your business, and put that in front of you and read it over and over and say it out loud. And when you find yourself saying anything that is against that, just zip it. Because when you say something out loud, it's because you have a belief or a thought about it that is so strong, you can't just keep quiet about it. And if it's against that vision, just catch yourself and don't worry about it. Relax and breathe as always, but catch yourself and notice, what am I saying out loud? And that can also help you understand the areas of self-belief where you're not like 10 out of 10. So that is all I have for you guys. Do we have any time left for? No, it's right on the dot. So Lauren, do you have anything to close up with?
No, except it's so funny because I would be like typing things and then you were saying them. I hope you can see or see it afterwards, but like you're talking about like belief in the profession. I was like typing the books and then you started like listing the books and I was like, well, we're on the same page tonight. You did amazing. Like, I wish you could see the texts that are coming in. People are blowing up Jen's phone, Rachel's phone, mine. This is just really, really invaluable for a lot of people. So thanks for your transparency and just being raw and, you know, going through those 6 things. So you guys, Kelly and Jason, if he's still on, and Chris, you know, thank you for lighting us up and sharing your stories and teaching us about the Slim Cakes. And Meg, thanks for all that you did. And you guys just go get your ship teams in order and crush free enrollment, and see you all next week, and definitely at Celebration. Grab Celebration tickets. Don't miss it. That's what I'm going to end with. Thank you, guys.
Events, they help with the belief. You got to get there.
Have to go.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great
Bye,
rest
guys.
of your night. Take
See
care.
you.
Bye.
Thanks, Meg.